Alexander Isak has finally spoken, and if you're a Newcastle United fan, it is excellent news. It really is. But welcome to the latest Newcastle United news right here on the Toon Review YouTube channel. My name is Paul. Thank you so much, as usual, for tuning in. If you do enjoy the show, please do give it the thumbs up. And of course, if you're new, why not come and join this amazing community we've got going here by hitting that subscribe button. It is free to do so. But don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, which will let you know when we do any uploads such as this, or we schedule in all our live shows. Plenty to get through, as usual with Newcastle United every day, certainly in the build-up to the transfer window. But I want to start off with the massive breaking story regarding Alexander Isak. Now, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, in the last few months. Certainly Arsenal fans pushing the luck a little bit, putting him in an Arsenal shirt online and things like that. But Alexander Isak has never come out and said anything. Nobody quite knew where he was in his own head about staying at Newcastle or maybe leaving. That has all been put to bed today in an interview that he's done while he's been away with Sweden. Now, what I will say is, when they go away on international duty, these reporters seem to want to catch these players out and for them to give a little bit of a different side to things. And it's never quite that, is it? You know, they'll always try and catch them out saying, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind a move here. Or, yes, Arsenal's a big club, all of that kind of stuff. But with Isak, he's straight down the line in this interview. And like I say, if you're a Newcastle fan, it's excellent news. He was asked about how last season went. And he said it has been good, especially the second part of the season. I had some knocks and injuries in the first part. It was a bit difficult to find the flow, but in the last few months, I've played regularly and gained continuity. It is shown in the performances as well. Now, we know that Isak was on fire second half of the season, apart from those couple of games where he had an illness. Of course, Callum Wilson had an illness as well at the same time. So we know that he wasn't quite firing in all cylinders then, but in the main, he's been superb for the last part of the season and really justifying that price tag. And the fact is that if you believe what has been said in the media regarding his price tag for the future, Newcastle United are well and truly going to double, quadruple that. And absolutely so. This guy is very, very special. And I still think we've got another gear to see with Isak anyway. Now, he scored 21 Premier League goals, which of course has beaten Zlatan Ibrahimovic's record in the Premier League. And he said, it's fun to have a record in Swedish football. I am mostly satisfied with my season. I scored a lot of goals in a league like the Premier League. When I think about my own contribution, I am very satisfied with it. Now, then the reporter went on to ask him about the media speculation and linking him with a summer move to a number of clubs, of course, not just Arsenal have been mentioned. There's been a few. He said, I'm enjoying myself very, very well in Newcastle. I had my best season now in my career. That should not be underestimated. I love everything really about the club, the fans and the city. I actually have no thoughts of a move or anything like that. I enjoy myself fantastically well and I'm very happy with my life. So that should instantly put a huge smile on the Newcastle fans' faces and rather throw lots of mud and eggs in the Arsenal fans' faces who've been trying to wind us up, let's face it, for the last few months regarding Isak's future, saying, oh, he's going to be an Arsenal player, you know, he'll not be able to turn us down and things like that. But the player himself does not want to go anywhere. And there you go, he said it. Now, also, he was asked about the speculation in the British media claiming that Newcastle might have to sell him or another star player in order to stay within the PSR regulations. Now, this is what Isak went on to say. It's not something I'm speculating on within the team or the club. There has been no talk or drama around it. I've not received the information from the club that they would have to sell me. So there you go. I mean, look, things may change in football, right? Sometimes footballers, they don't actually get a big say on transfers and things like that at the end of the day. If Newcastle United did have to sell a player, then I'm sure they would have already had that conversation with Isak before he went away. I'm pretty sure about that. They wouldn't have just sort of told Isak, oh, you know, nothing, and then let him go and then suddenly sell him to Arsenal. The player himself does not want to leave. That is quite clear from his interview. He is very, very happy at Newcastle United and he's bought into it. That's what we need to take from this interview, that Isak has bought into it. I know there's not a lot of there's not a lot of trust in football these days, especially when it comes to players saying that they love the club that they're playing for, and then suddenly somebody waves a check in the face and they're off again. But with Isak, I think this is a very, very different thing here. He's bought into what Newcastle are about. He loves playing for us. He says he loves the fans, he loves the city, and there's no reason for him to leave. I think Newcastle United behind the scenes right now are working on a new contract. I have no doubt in my mind that they are trying to get Isak to sign a new deal. And hopefully that's what he spoke about with the chairman at the end of the game, final game of the home season last year. We will see. But that is great news as far as I'm concerned. It's put my mind at rest a lot about Isak. Bruno's the only one I think I'm really worried about. The sooner this release clause disappears into the sunset, the better for me. But yeah, stick that in your jelly deals, Arsenal fans. It doesn't look like our Isak is going anywhere. So you can take all your crap and your Photoshop editing off social media. Isak wants to stay. There you go. Take that. Now, Burnley, of course, are looking to probably cash in on James Trafford. He has been linked with Newcastle United many, many times. But you will never guess who he's been linked with in the reporting this morning. Yes, you guessed it, folks. Our old friends down in London, Chelsea, they want to bring James Trafford to Stamford Bridge. Now, Burnley look like they're going to demand a £20 million fee. Now, of course, James Trafford is 21 years old. He's got fabulous potential. Let's not beat around the bush. He had a little bit of a dodgy season last year, but that doesn't make him a bad goalkeeper, guys. It really doesn't. This guy is a real talent. A very, very good goalkeeper. And I know there's a lot going on with Marbadashvili at the minute. Have we or have we not put a bid in for him? It's a little quiet today on that front, actually. There's not much being said about Marbadashvili. Of course, I'm very, very, very on the fence with that, whether there's actually been a bid or not. I think if there had been a formal bid, I think Newcastle might have said something to a journalist. However, that they haven't. They're keeping their cards close to the chest. And this morning, it's back to James Trafford. It's like a merry-go-round of goalkeepers, this. 1 minute it's Trafford, 1 minute it's Ramsdale, and next it's Marbadashvili. So, listen, we know we're going to go for a goalkeeper. I think that's quite obvious now that we're going to try and sign a goalkeeper. No doubt about that in my mind. Could it be James Trafford? I don't know. But suddenly Chelsea, once again, swooping in. And honestly, I feel like we are working for Chelsea. I don't know whether you guys out there feel like that, but that's how I feel like that right now. Like, we are working for Chelsea. We are doing all the scouting for Chelsea Football Club, and it's becoming an absolute farce. It's a joke. Just do your own work, Chelsea. For God's sake, do your own work. Now, of course, at the end of the season, Newcastle United took a trip to Australia. A lot of fans, certainly from this country, were a little bit worried about it, given the season that we'd had and having to go on a long journey down under, literally as soon as the Premier League blew the final whistle on the final day of the season. Now, Tottenham star Dejan Kulusevski has come out and said that he was very, very unhappy with having to go to Australia. He said he can understand because of the money issue. And of course, we spoke about that in the past, and we know, and Amanda Staveley's come out and also confirmed that, they can't turn revenue down. And I think it's the same for Tottenham. They're under the same restrictions we are with PSR and FFP and all that kind of crap. So you can understand both clubs wanting to go and make a bit of money. But he said the timing was completely wrong. For the fact that they just finished kicking the Premier League balls at the end of the season, to then jump on a plane the same day, within a few hours, and fly all the way to Australia, really took it out of them. Now, normally I wouldn't mention this with it being a Tottenham Hotspur player interview. However, what he did go on to say was that he spoke to quite a few senior Newcastle United players after the game, and they were also disillusioned with the whole thing. Again, speaking to them, the players themselves understand the money situation, but the timing of the trip was bizarre. To have to go all the way to Australia, let's face it, for a few days and fly all the way back, it's lunacy. The timing of it was wrong. Now, I'm not against us going to Australia. It was brilliant for the Australian fans, of course, to see Tottenham and Newcastle. We'll forget about the second game against the All-Stars because for me that didn't happen. But the main game against Tottenham, I was really pleased for the Australian fans to get to see the team. Normally they wouldn't get to see them in the flesh. It would take an awful lot of money for them to travel over here to a game if they could even get tickets. However, the timing of it was bizarre. Let's be honest. As soon as the final whistle blew at Brentford, they were straight to the airport and on a plane to Australia. It is bizarre. I have never seen timing like that in my life. So I can understand the money, but very interesting that Kulusevski came out and said that he spoke to a few senior Newcastle players as well who were disillusioned with the trip and a little bit fed up with it, to be honest. You know, after a long, grueling season, the last thing you want to do is have to go and play a couple of games in Australia and fly back a few days later. It was mental, but it's all water under the bridge now, of course. But it was very interesting to see or to hear Kulusevski come out and say that. Now, finally, if you watched the live transfer show last night, one player that we highlighted on there was Nico Williams, a very, very, very talented footballer. However, when people saw what wages he was on, they were like, bloody hell, there's no chance in hell we're going to sign this player. However, The Athletic have reported this morning that Newcastle United have shown a general interest in the player. Which is very strange considering we just mentioned him on the transfer show last night. He had been linked in the media a few weeks ago. That's why we did him on the show. But this morning, it states that the 21-year-old could be open to a move. He does have a release clause. Now, this is the thing that we couldn't find last night on the show, whether or not the release clause still stood for Nico Williams, but it does. And apparently it stands at £43 million. Now, 43 million quid for Nico Williams I'd snap the fingers off for him. This guy is elite. No doubt about that. He's an elite footballer. He's brilliant. And would listen, our right side would be solved straight away if we managed to get this guy in. The one stumbling block, however, guys, is what everybody was pointing to, and that's, of course, his wages. He's led to believe to be on around £172,000 a week, which is extortionate. Now, if we were to get him, it would blow Newcastle United's wage structure out of the water completely, and I think we all know that. Completely out of the water. It would be unprecedented wages for a player in our history. However, if we pay the release clause, then we may be able to offer him a bit of a financial package regarding the signing on fee, bonuses and that to bring his wages down. We know the football clubs can do that. They offer a good signing on fee, and then they go and look at bonuses and performances and match appearances and things like that, which will up the player's money, but the actual annual wage is brought down. But that's something that obviously the bigwigs at Newcastle United would have to sort out. It is led to believe that the wages are the only stumbling block with Newcastle United putting a formal bid in for Williams or meeting the release clause. So it's one to keep an eye on. It's exciting for me because, Nico Williams is somebody that is across Europe, one of the best. He really is. I've seen him live a couple of times. This guy can play, and he would be a massive addition to Newcastle United, but the wages look like they're going to be a problem. He scored 8 goals and 17 assists last season. He's got everything. He really has. So it would be up to Newcastle United to work out some kind of financial package for him. But to be even linked with him is fantastic in my opinion, but we'll see what happens. There you go. That is the news. Of course, the main story is the Isak one. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think this finally puts to bed any worry you've got about Isak leaving, or do you still think you're still going to be worried until he signs a contract extension or an improved contract? Let me know. But thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start, if you have enjoyed the show, guys, please do give it the thumbs up. And of course, if you're new and like what you see, come and be part of this amazing community by hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free to do so. But don't forget to hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we upload videos such as this, or we schedule in our live shows. Now, if you're watching this on Wednesday, tonight at 7 o'clock, we have a really good show for you. It's going to be sort of keep, sell, or loan out. Who do you want out of Newcastle United next season? Would you loan them out? Would you sell them? Or would you keep them? We're going to get your involvement in the show all the way through, asking you about certain players. So it's going to be a very, very interactive show. So join us at 7 o'clock for that. It's going to be a cracking one. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, folks. Have a fantastic day. See you soon.